Welcome to replant, 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 corn maze, plant more. I don't know, I go away for 5 days and I come back and everything's changed.
It's May 31st. Every other decision I've made this year has seemed like it's been the wrong one. So I'm just flipping a coin and going with whatever it says. Because really, honestly, I ain't got a clue what to do this year. Happy Memorial Day, everybody. Take this minute to remember all the servicemen who've died in defending our country and our rightful freedoms. So I just want to tell any either active or former military, I want to say thank you, how much we appreciate everything you've done for our country and our rights to enjoy life as free people. Well, while it may be Memorial Day, I'm sure there's a lot of people at the lake or grilling out or whatnot. That's not what we're doing today. I'll give you 3 guesses to guess what we're doing today, and the first 2 don't count. That's right, we are planting again. I don't know how many days planting we've done, but we are doing it yet again today. The Cotton Scout just stopped by and gave us the report, and we've got 1 farm of cotton that has to be replanted. I mean, literally there's very little up there. In reality, not much of my cotton looks good anyways. Soil temperature was cool when we planted it, and then I mean we had warm weather after that. For whatever reason, our cotton just looks funky, not growing, not doing much of anything. We've had the last 3 to 4 days, we've had a lot of rain, and it's actually turned off cold again. Believe it or not, I thought we were done with the cold weather, but the cotton that's up is just really just sitting there. But on this 1 farm, I just didn't do a good job of getting the seed actually down into the soil. The cover crop was interfering a lot. I don't know why, because the cover crop wasn't any different on, it really wasn't any different on this farm than it was at any of the other farms, but for whatever reason it didn't go in the ground. It's the last farm that we planted, and anyway, what's there is not going to be worth keeping, so I had a choice to make. I can either replant back into cotton, have some late planted cotton, or I can go into soy, or I can go back to soybeans. Really, I can't go back to soybeans because we've got break down as a pre-emerge, and the label states that you cannot replant into soybeans within 2 months of applying break. So we're only about 3 weeks after applying the break. So according to label, we cannot go back with soybeans. The soybeans might actually come up and do good, but then again, they might not. It might be a lot of interference with the break. And also, with it being Memorial Day, no chance of getting any kind of seed today, cotton or soybean seed. But we do still have quite a bit of test plot cotton seed left over from our test plots. So the Cotton Scout and I looked at all of them, and we got 4 different varieties that he thinks will be pretty good. So we're gonna put them in the hopper, and we got about 18 acres we need to replant. We're gonna put them in the hopper and roll with it. Anyway, right now my planter is set up for soybeans. I'm gonna see how fastly I can get this sucker changed back over to cotton. And then after we get done replanting the cotton, what my plan was tomorrow is we got some more soybeans to plant, and we've also got our corn maze to plant. So we're gonna be doing I'll be talking a little bit more about those later on the video, but we got a lot of changing back and forth on this planter. We've already changed it over I don't know how many times this spring, but we got to do it a few more times. So anyway, let's see how fast we can get this thing changed over and go stick some cotton in the ground. Today, because being Memorial Day, all the ag businesses are closed, can't get any cottonseed. We're going to pick from the test plot seed we've got left over. Now, ideally, these probably wouldn't be my first choices planting, but one day's difference in planting can make all the difference. Plus, the farm that we've got to replant was actually test plot seed anyway, so I've got no kind of replant coverage on it or anything else. So Cotton Scout and I looked through all the bags we got left, and we got 2 Dynagrow varieties, a Next Gen variety, a Stoneville variety, and a Phytogen variety that we're gonna mix together and put on this farm. And this is why we save our test plot seed until we're completely done planting, because you never know. Days like today, this test plot seed can really come in handy when you got a plant, but you can't get a hold of any seed. Anyway, before we get too far in this field, I'm just going to show you what we're looking at over here. You can tell there's a row right down through there. We got a few plants right here, and then we go a long stretch through that. Then we see another one, and then a couple more, and then over here, I can see about 5 in this stretch. And it's just like that all across the farm. I have no idea why the bare spots are really not any better than the spots that got heavy cover crop in it. For whatever reason, the seed just didn't do good. This is the last farm that we planted. It should have had the warmest soil temperature. It should have come up the fastest. But it just, a lot of it just didn't come up at all. Some of it, I had problems with seed getting in the ground. Slugs have been an issue in some of this. Some of it, the seed just didn't germinate. Some of it's still trying to push through the ground almost 2 weeks later, so it's got no vigor left. And this is where we switched to those 4 Delta Pine test plot seeds, and I don't know, maybe they just didn't like it. The farm previous to this that we planted right before this come up to a good stand. We didn't have test plot varieties on it though, so I don't know. This has been the most difficult, strangest planting season I've ever encountered. There's just some things that have happened this spring that just make no sense to me, make no sense agronomically, and I just don't understand it. Anyway, we're going to check, make sure we got our depth set right, and we're going to roll on. Well, I think we got the planter set. I don't know. I've been scratching around on the ground for the last 30 minutes with several different planter settings. Seems like one setting is just a little too shallow, leaving a few seeds right there on top of the ground, and then the next setting down is too deep, about an inch deep. I know seed on top of the ground not going to come up, so I erred on the side of putting them maybe just a hair deeper than what I want to. Normally I wouldn't consider it a hair deeper, but we've got rain coming in. Today's Monday. We got rain supposed to come in Wednesday, and it could be just enough to get the streets wet, or it could be a 2-inch frog strangler. Here in West Tennessee, you just don't know. And last thing you want is cottonseed planted deep with heavy rain coming in. It's May 31st. Every other decision I've made this year has seemed like it's been the wrong one. So I'm just flipping a coin and going with whatever it says, because really, honestly, I ain't got a clue what to do this year. Nothing has gone right. I mean, overall, our crops really don't look good overall. I mean, we got a few good looking spots, but some of the most uneven crops I've ever had, you know, corn, soybeans, and now cotton. You know, we had to replant some corn. It's coming up and doing okay. Didn't get 100% stand on it. I don't know why. The planting conditions were perfect. Some of the corn decided to leaf out underground. I don't have a clue why. You know, our earliest planted corn that we didn't have to replant went through a lot of cold, wet weather, and you can tell the wetter areas of the field are suffering. Some of it's just getting a taste of that nitrogen we put out, and it's starting to come out of it and looking better, but it's uneven. We had to replant 90 acres of soybeans, and the soybeans we didn't replant, they sat there for 2.5, 3 weeks, just didn't do much growing, bugs eating on them some. Cotton, we don't have a great stand of cotton overall. It's going to be adequate. It's not going to justify replanting, especially as late as it is, except for the 18 acres we're on now. But some of the seed didn't come up, some of the seed didn't get in the ground because of thick cover crop. I had some slug damage in parts of the field. Overall, I'd say we got about a 60% stand, and as thick as we plant cotton, that's plenty to make 100% yield, as long as you got the heat units to fill the cotton crop out. Again, that's something we don't know. I'll be able to tell you at the end of August if we made the right decision or not. But right now, I ain't got a clue. All I know is the last few years, I used to really look forward to planting time, but getting a new year, you got a fresh start, exciting prospects. Man, the last few years have just really sucked all the joy out of planting season for me. The last several years with the weather that we've dealt with, it's just been a constant guessing game and second guessing every decision you made. Even though at the time you were making the best decision you could with the information you had, but ultimately when it comes to farming, it's just a big guessing game. There's just so many things you can't predict. Number one being the weather. If you could have told me exactly what the weather was going to do, 2 weeks out, I could probably tell you exactly what the right thing would have been exactly what the right decision would have been on planting. Now, the last few planting seasons, this has been a constant game of, do I plant or do I wait? Do I replant or do I keep it? And when you're dealing with, marginal conditions or a stand that just really isn't that great, those kinds of decisions are absolutely the toughest we've got to face year in, year out, because you just don't know. Basically all it is a big guessing game, but you know what? It's a very expensive guessing game, because the decisions you make then is going to determine your income for the next 365 days. And sometimes that's a pretty tough pill to swallow. If you screw up planting the first time on a piece of ground, there's no shot of making 100% profit potential on that field for the rest of the year. Either you're going to be dealing with subpar yields because you didn't make the right decision on planting, or you're going to be dealing with increased costs, going back and having to replant, along with potentially lower yield potential because you're planting so much later. It's really worn on me the last few years. One thing I do know is we need some heat units on all of our crops. A little bit of extra heat will go a long ways towards making them look better and making me feel better. All right, well, here we are. This is most definitely the last pass of cotton planting 2021. If any more cotton has to be replanted, I can guarantee you it's not going back into cotton. As this is a planting video, and right now, I don't know, we're maybe 8, 9, 10 minutes into the video. The video's not over with. You can guess tomorrow there's probably going to be some more. That's right, you guessed it, some more planting. But anyway, I'll do a little bit more explaining about what's going on tomorrow, but we got a real busy day coming up tomorrow. We got rain coming in the day after that, and we got a lot of ground we got to cover. So I'll bring you back tomorrow and let you know a little bit what's going on then. Got a lot of different things we got to spray today. I'm gonna plant the corn maze and then swap out and go plant the Todd farm. First thing load up with the full mix, the full corn mix of Roundup, Rim Q, Atrazine. We're gonna spray the corn maze, then all of my mom's house, and then all of Ellington. After that, swap over to straight Gramoxone. I had to replant McCleary, Crockett County yesterday with cotton. Spray all that with Gramoxone, and then you need to do like 2 acres of Roundup and Prefix to get Burner Smiths finished up.
Yeah.
And then we'll go to Gramoxone, Valor, and Metribuzin, and do all the Todd farm.
Got my trusty partner helping me today. Welcome to replant, corn maze, plant more. I don't know, I go away for 5 days and I come back and everything's changed. So I'm helping Matt. We've already changed out the plates from cotton to corn. He's gonna go plant the corn maze, which is across the street for our zombie trail. And then he's gonna come back here and I'm gonna help him change corn to soybeans. And then we're gonna go plant a farm. It's a long story. You're gonna have to ask Matt. He'll have to tell you all about it because I'm still confused. We lost it, we got it back. We lost it, we got it back. We lost it, we got it back. And now we got it back again? I don't know. So that's the plan. Zach's gonna go spray a whole bunch of different mixes. So I'm the in-between person. So I'm between the planter and the sprayer and everything else. I kind of just show up to chaos. I'm kind of like the chaos coordinator. I need a hat for that.
All right, we got a busy day ahead of us today. I've already gotten Zach started spraying. We got this planter changed over to corn because right now we are out planting our corn maze for the zombie trail paintball. So we got these two little fields that I'm in here. It totals about 4 acres worth of corn maze that we're going to have here. And then we got another 3-acre field that's also part of the zombie paintball that trailers drive around, and we have zombies out in the cornfield that come out at the customers. So reason we're planting this so late is that we don't plant this for yield. We plant it strictly for the fall attraction, and we still want it green whenever the attraction starts in the fall. That way it can stand up to all the abuse it's going to see in the month of October. Typically we have, well, last year we had, I think, around 8,000 people total come out to the zombie trail paintball, and of those about a third of them went through the corn maze. So you can imagine all those kids and adults stumbling around through the corn maze in the dark, what kind of abuse it's got to take. So we need a good strong variety that hadn't been mature too long in order to withstand that. What we got loaded in the planter is Pioneer 2089. It's the longest season hybrid that a person can get. It should hit black layer around the 3rd week of September or the very end of September, which will be perfect for our needs. Anyway, we're planting this a little bit differently than we do our normal corn. Normally we plant our corn on 38-inch rows, and well, that wide of a row really doesn't work all that great for corn maze. So we've cut our population in half. We're planting the field once, and then we will adjust our guidance line over about 10 inches, and we'll come back and plant it again. That way we'll have twin row corn, and it'll be a lot narrower where the customers aren't tempted just to walk down the rows of corn. They actually gotta follow the maze. Zach's already sprayed this. He's spraying the rest of our corn also. The corn that we had to replant, he's spraying it with a herbicide. Then he's going to turn around in the field of cotton I sprayed yesterday. He's going to spray it with bromoxone to wipe out any of that cotton that was up, because one thing you don't want on cotton is you only want 1 row of cotton. Otherwise it's almost impossible to harvest. It's not like corn where it'll kind of flex as long as the row is close and go in the header. It's not like that at all. So we're going to wipe that out. Then he's got about 2.5 acres of soybeans in Madison County that whenever we were spraying, we ran out of chemical. Got to do that. And then got another field of soybeans I actually picked up this weekend. So anyway, we're going to hurry up. We're going to try and get this 7 acres total corn planted, then get back to shop, change this thing back over to soybeans again. We've changed this planter over so many times this spring, it ain't even funny. Thank goodness, or hopefully this is going to be the last time we got to change it over. I don't know how much we're going to get done today, because I think the weatherman lied. Yesterday I checked the forecast and rain wasn't supposed to be in until about after midnight tonight, and then this morning apparently they moved the rain chances up about 12 hours. So I don't know what we'll be able to get done, but we're gonna keep going till it rains.